When you first get ready to take a portrait, the first question to ask is, what is the subject? Decide what you want the viewer to look at. That central question should drive the rest of your choices: how you frame the shot, how to use the light, and what camera settings you prioritize. If your subject is a person, then consider whether you want to show them as part of the environment or isolate them from the background. If the setting itself matters, a street scene, an interesting landscape, or contextual details that tell you about the person, you should choose an aperture that keeps both the subject and the background reasonably sharp. In practical terms, this means stopping down to small apertures, something in the neighbourhood of f4 to maybe f8. These apertures increase the depth of field, so elements behind the person also remain recognisable. If the background is distracting or unimportant, and you want the viewer's attention to sit entirely on the person, then choose a wide aperture to blur the background. Large apertures like f1.8, f2.8 or f3.5 create shallow depth of field and pleasant bokeh, making faces and details pop against a soft backdrop. In portrait situations, a wide aperture is a quick way to simplify the scene and emphasize the subject. Once you decide on aperture, you've effectively set one side of the exposure triangle. Next, think about ISO and shutter speed. Start by setting ISO to your camera's base value, which is typically ISO 100 or ISO 200, because the lower ISO gives cleaner images with less noise. From there, you can use shutter speed to get the exposure that you need. Now, in bright outdoor conditions, you'll usually be able to keep ISO low and then rely on a fast shutter speed. If you're hand-holding the camera, choose a shutter speed fast enough to avoid camera shake. A general rule of thumb for beginners is to use at least 1/100 of a second with standard lens to stay safe from blur caused by handshake. If you have a longer lens or you're unsure, increase the shutter speed accordingly. Faster shutter speeds not only prevent handshake blur, but they also help freeze small movements and produce crisper images. When light levels drop, the trade-off changes. If you've chosen a wide aperture to create background blur, you'll already be letting in more light, but you'll still start with the lowest ISO possible. Then reduce shutter speed to brighten the exposure. Keep lowering the shutter speed until you reach the point where hand-holding becomes risky. For many people, that's around 1/80 or 1/100 of a second. If you go slower than that and you don't have stabilization or a tripod, then the risk of blur rises. At that point, instead of slowing the shutters further, increase the ISO in steps. Doubling ISO from 200 to 400 gives you one stop of light, allowing you to use a faster shutter speed while maintaining the aperture you want for depth of field. If the ISO needs to go higher to get a usable shutter speed, then do it. But be mindful that a higher ISO is going to introduce more digital noise. So try to balance the need for sharpness with acceptable image quality. Also consider subject motion. If your hands are steady, the person that you're taking a picture of might move. If you want absolutely sharp eyes and no motion blur, increase shutter speed to freeze the motion, especially for children or people who are moving. In bright light, this is going to be really easy, but in dim light, you might need to open the aperture as much as possible and accept a higher ISO. Finally, aim to get the best exposure in the camera. You can recover some detail in post-production, but heavily underexposed files that are pushed up in software often then show more noise and lower the image quality. Use the camera's meter and histogram to guide you. If the meter shows you're a stop or two under and you don't want to raise ISO further, then consider adding a light, changing composition, or accepting a slightly darker mood while you know that you can lift shadows later. But try not to rely on heavy recovery as a primary strategy. Now, to recap, decide whether the background is part of the story or just a distraction. Set aperture to match the goal, start with the lowest ISO, use a shutter speed to achieve a stable, sharp image. And when shutter speed hits your handheld limit, then raise ISO as needed. Those basic steps will help you make consistent choices for outdoor portraits. In future videos, we're going to add more factors like lighting, lens choice, and composition. So your decision's going to change when you get more advanced.